with the YouTube? Y'all know Big Flaco with a convict's perspective, and I'm gonna smash, dash, and slide on through that little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, and do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. So once again, I'm gonna do another story. A lot of you guys appreciate me talking about some of the things I was involved in, and this one's a kind of shocker. This is when I was trying to take things to a whole nother level, and this was around 2006. Okay, I was in on a violation. I was in the county jail in Santa Clara County, and Lynching was there and all that, and I get transferred out to Santa Rita. First time in Santa Rita. So when I get there, they immediately slam me down because of gang affiliations. Which back in the days, they used to put us out there in the main line sometimes, but they ended up moving me, I think, to Unit 2 at the time. And I end up in APOD. And downstairs, there was a Jama cat named Hassan. Upstairs, there was an individual named June from DGF, who's now an NF member. But at that time, he was just a northerner. He was driving, though. I started, working with him while I was there, educating him and whatnot. And there was another dude named Ignacio de la Fuente, right? And when I got there, the whole program was in disarray, right? So there was a dude that was in, I think, A, B, C, D, E, I think F pod or whatever, E pod, right? I forgot what pod it was. And so when I got there, he was Drew from Hayward. Now I know a Drew from Hayward that's who's doing life. It wasn't this one, so don't get him mistaken. And he had been in there he tried to rush some Nazi cat when he was in there, and he was running a very fucked up program. And I got him on paper, and he didn't really respond to me right. So I fucking got back at him and I stripped him of his position. And told him that he was and put him on freeze basically when I was there. Next thing you know, he got rolled up. So whoever this cat was, he was running a fucked up program. So as I'm there, I'm establishing a new household program. The whole didn't have a lot of home, but at that time, I was trying to figure out where Corny and all them were at, because this was in Santa Rita. And a lot of them were being housed back and forth from Oakland to Santa Rita. So as I'm talking to June's striving from DGF, right? I find out about this cat named Ignacio de la Fuente. Now, his dad was running for mayor of Oakland. He was a city councilman, right? Had a lot of influence out there in Oakland. But come to find out, Ignacio, his son, same name, went by Nacho. He was claiming to be a homeboy from Oakland. But the catch to it was that he was in there for rape charges. He was an alleged serial rapist in Oakland. Now, everybody remembers this. This was around 2006. So, in the whole, everybody knows how it is. The doors, they don't pop the doors open. They come and let you out for program time and whatnot. So I was trying to feel this dude out, right? And I was seeing how beneficial he was. And he said that he had resources to different things that could be kind of beneficial for the homeboys out there in the Gaius. And he had money, right? So what I decided to do was, there's times where you play the dummy role. There was a time when there was an individual named Lucas Palacios that they were trying to extort $50,000 from. The NF was, and they were still going to hit him. And this was a similar situation where I was trying to get in good graces with this dude and trying to extort him for different things, or to see if his political connections could be helpful for the homeboys. And so I pretty much put this dude on partial. I told him he was partially cleared pending the further investigation, which is kind of rare to do, but a lot of times what you're doing is you're making the individual under investigation comfortable. And that was the whole purpose of what I was trying to do, was make him feel comfortable. Because how many times do you have homeboys that have connections to law enforcement or whatnot on the streets? And I thought, okay, now if we do a favor here for an individual whose dad's running for mayor, who's involved in politics, it could be beneficial. So this dude started to kind of assist back. He was giving money. He was doing all kinds of different things while I was there. I submitted a kite to the guys and said, look, I got this situation. I think the dude's guilty of these charges. Whether he was, committing deviant offenses, or this could be a political scam, because they found DNA on the victims, right? But the victims were alleged prostitutes. So you never know what was going on, if this was something that was on a higher level, because they brought in a dude that was from a whole other city to run against De La Fuente. It was almost like they did not want a Latino male in Oakland winning, right? So from there, we had an open line of communication with this dude, and we were gonna try. I was gonna try to sit there and see what we could extort from it. So basically, it was a mission to maybe not potentially extort, but to see what value he could be for us. Now, if you got someone who's connected politically, that could be for homeboys to get out that have a life sentence. It could be to have certain moves that you normally couldn't be able to have moved. All kinds of different things. Grant money if we wanted to do it to some legitimate businesses. So this was going to be a big thing. So I wrote a report, and I was sending it. See, I was trying to get to Corny in it, but they had already they were already gone because they had already took their deals back in 2004, and they were no longer there. And we were going through that little internal conflict out there in the streets with Salinas at the time. So at the same time, I knew I was going back to the system, so I ended up sending a filter up to the Bay, right? And I sent it through San Quentin. They ended up getting it. I got a confirmation they got it because I think Conejo from fucking Sacramento was pissed off about something I did, but I kind of just ignored what he was saying because I was more in line with the feds and I was trying to play both sides, keep the dudes in the state happy. I was good with Chuco because I ended up seeing Chuco later on, but you know what I'm saying? It was one of those catchy situations. So while I was there, we had this dude functioning with us, and it was all basically under false pretenses that we wanted to get him up to the main line, or we wanted to see if he could be valuable to us. And so that was the whole end. And I was filing my reports to the streets that we got the individual, the guy that's running for the mayor of Oakland's son here, and we tried to, create a little scenario to where it was like, okay, this could be a whole political scam that they're trying to set the son up to make the father look bad, which could have been true. And that was the whole thing that we were pressing if anybody had any questions. But see, the thing is that we had to sit there and even let Manpower know that he was partially cleared, as opposed to telling people he was on freeze or under investigation. Because if that would have got back to him in a breach of security, then he would have been liable to fucking walk away or flip or whatever, or we would have got nothing from him. So, I mean, that was my mission. And I was there with him for about 3 months. And then when I got to fucking Tracy, I sent another kite up to the Bay. Because I sent one to this dude named Big Tone from fucking, from Stockton. And he was the RSD over there. And he didn't last much long. When he came back, fucking I already had him deemed no good for his acts. So, all that was reported, all that was submitted, man, and nothing came to it. At that time, I had my own things I was going through, but we were really trying to extort, basically, a political candidate's son. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys look into it, man, you guys will find his case that he was in there for deviant charges. He was in Unit 2, APOD. He had a little conflict with the homeboy Drew, and I told that dude Drew just to sit the fuck down. That dude Drew ended up rolling it up. June was there from DGF, who's now with our now. The funny thing about June is I told June he had a court case still pending, and they came to get him to bring him to Quentin. Now he he almost got me a little cross, right? But I told him, I said, look, tell him that you don't want to go anywhere until you talk to a sergeant when you get down there. He thought I was telling him to refuse to get on the bus until we seen a sergeant. So when they went to go fucking change his clothes out, June refused to fucking get changed out. They ended up jumping on him. The fucking sheriffs did. Next thing you know, I get a fucking cut a month later that why did I tell him to fucking get off with the cops instead of getting on the bus? And I was like, oh fuck, man. I didn't tell the homeboy that. I said just push that much pressure on that you want to talk to a fucking sheriff. I mean, you want to find out about your court case before you leave. That was all there was to it, man. But that was an interesting scenario. I think that was out of all the issues that I tried to push out there on the streets or in the county jail, I think that was one of the more I guess I don't want to say deviant acts, but because deviants or deceptive, I don't want to use those words because I was being deceptive. But in my eyes, the dude had fucking charges that were fucking hideous type of crimes. I don't support that kind of shit. But if we can get something out of him before we deal with it, dude, let's do it. And that was the whole goal. We've done that in the past to where we made someone believe like we're going to clear this dude if you pay this much money. And as soon as they pay, we have to do fucking hit. And so that was the mission that I had with this individual, you know. So I think the brothers were tripping when they were getting a fucking kite from me, talking about that I'm trying to fucking recruit this political figure's son, and they thought I was full of shit till they looked into it. They go, "Oh shit, he's not lying. The dude is there, right there with him," you know. And there was a lot of dudes at first that were giving him a lot of backlash just because of who his dad was and because of his case, man. But as soon as they see me interacting with him in the pod, it kind of changed things a little bit, man. You know, I mean, that's just how the game goes sometimes, man. Sometimes you got to make a person feel comfortable, make them believe that they're in good standings or in your good graces. Therefore, you're trying to utilize them for what you can gain. Like I said, this was a whole different chapter in my life. This is where I went from being part of just the constant struggle to now I'm involved in the old business. I'm involved in it. Therefore, my actions had to be on a whole different level. It was all about this. We can exploit something for this. That's what I was supposed to do. That's what I was trained to do. That's what I've been doing. You know, but eventually nothing came of it. He ended up taking a deal. I guess he went to SNY and whatnot, man. But there was a time period where, I had a mission to basically extort this dude's son. You know, and I've been involved in some other stuff where we did similar things like that with rappers and whatnot, or certain things to where people would have to do this and that or pay a certain thing just to be able to be in good graces. And that's the thing that we used to do back then. It's like if there was something that was like a wobbler situation, like an improper statement that a cop made that allegedly someone said, if it wasn't under on the stand or if it wasn't done under a recorded interview and just on scene, we would clear dudes like that, but we'd find them money. Because basically the whole fucking justification in it was, well, we can't believe that you said it or you did say it because the cop's saying that you said it. We're not going to take a cop's word. You're saying you didn't say it, but in order for you to show us that you're worthy, well, you're going to show us worthy by showing how much you got in your pocket and how much are you willing to pay. That's the name of the game. It gets like that, man. With that said, with boy Flaco, convicts respected, man. I'm out.